So we're here to solve this seemingly easy cave puzzle by Serkan Yürekli. I wanted to emphasize while solving this a particular basic heuristic that really helps in cave puzzles. And the idea is that in order for a cave to exist and for all the interior cells that are shaded to also get out to an edge of the grid, you can't form a checkerboard pattern. What's a checkerboard pattern? Let's say you have a situation where this cell, like this 2, and these 3 are inside the cave. Let's say you've shaded as unused the 2 opposite cells in a 2x2 square like a checkerboard. If this cell is getting out to an edge like this, and this cell is getting an edge out to like this, effectively the cave is split in 2, regardless of how these go. And if this even connects to itself, you can isolate the cave and not have it connect with other things. And so a different way to see this is to view cave as a loop puzzle, and you have to be able to form a full loop, and this would actually have a loop crossing itself if you're trying to draw the borders around it. But the quick starting takeaway is that you never have a cave with a checkerboard pattern. What that means is a first heuristic a lot of people learn is that when you have a cell like this next to a clue like this, diagonally, one of these cells is part of the cave, and with a 2, the only cell that the 2 sees is the cell below it or to the right. And so you can mark this as unused to the left of the 2, this is unused to the top of the 2, and then similarly we've now set up an opposite checkerboard pattern. If this is white and these 2 are black, this cell here has to be black. And so at the very start of this puzzle, experienced cave solvers will mark something like this, and those who aren't experienced cave solvers may struggle for a bit to know where to go. The next more subtle thing also comes from then looking at the next steps in this puzzle, which is that along this channel, 2 and to 3, these aren't all white, and so at least one of these is not used, and particularly between these, this 3 and this 3, they're not all used because that would end up being 4 long. And when you have an unused cell somewhere near a cave transition, a white into a black, here's a situation where if this cell became white, and that then moves this X to be a shaded cell down below, we form a new cave checkerboard pattern, which is no good. In short, if this is white, that being black, this is now no longer valid. And so there's a consequence at the start that this cell is not where the 2 connects. This cell is where the 2 connects. And that gets this into the grid. We then have sort of these spaces not being used. We similarly then need to think about where the last connection can be. This being here, this is not used. We talked about an anti-checkerboard pattern, so the 2 comes down here. This is shaded. Again, the checkerboard pattern makes this cell be part of the cave. So this is not used. This is not used. Checkerboard pattern, again, this is shaded. Checkerboard pattern, again, this is part of the cave. This is 3 long and fully shaded. This is now a checkerboard pattern not used. You'll start to see that this particular kind of pattern is very valuable almost anywhere you find it. Little bit more to do over on these sides. There are 5 total cells this 4 can see, so it's got to see 1 more down below. This 3 has only 1 more cell it sees. This is only 1 more cell it sees. This 4 and this 4 are connected in a way that actually if this comes down, it's going to mark as unused both of these cells, and then this channel, which is blocked, is no good. So you can do a sneaky deduction, says this. That marks this as unshaded, which marks this as a part of the cave. The 3 is now complete. Here we now have a little part of the cave that's got to stay connected to the rest, so it's got to come all the way down here. That's too many to connect with this 4. Comes down again with this clue, it's too many to connect with this. So it's here. We've got to keep extending further to the right, so notice that this cell are part of the cave, and then the next cell coming out will be this, and this will continue going right. And we're now too big to be part of this 3, so we've got to do this to fill into the grid. And that makes all these cells unusable. This is too much to connect together, so this is how that goes. And we're through this puzzle. It's small, but has, as I said, surprisingly a little bit of challenge to it. And particularly for those who haven't done cave before, seeing the checkerboard patterns, knowing that a 2 diagonally next to another clue has to use one of the 2 cells and not any of the others around it. Then looking at these channels and then looking at how we get a connected part of the whole cave together got us through the end. So hope you learned a little bit about cave puzzles, and we'll see you through future puzzles in this week, and we'll see you again soon.